A wage deadlock between Eskom and striking unions has been broken following a 14-hour marathon wage negotiation process. The breakthrough will successfully avert a potentially costly strike for the already ailing SA economy. The wage negotiation process, brokered by the CCMA, lasted until the early hours of Friday morning. Both NUM and Solidarity have signed a wage increase of between 8.5% and 10%, with the lowest paid workers getting a 10% pay rise for this year. The deal has not yet been signed by NUMSA, but they have agreed in principle to the terms. The National Union of Mine Workers, or NUM, is in the process of mobilizing all its members to return to work. And joining us on the phone line to further unpack this, Eskom spokesperson Khulu Phasiwe. Thank you so much for joining us here on Morning Prime this morning, sir. Reports are emerging that a deadlock in the Eskom wage negotiations have been brokered. Could you give us more details on this and as to what agreements were made?
Well, yes, the deadlock has now been resolved. We have, in the early hours of this morning, agreed between all three unions within Eskom, NUM, NUMSA, and Solidarity. But NUMSA has not yet signed the agreement because they still want to go back to their constituency to get, a fresh mandate to sign. But the two other unions, NUM and Solidarity, have signed. And this is a wage increment on a sliding scale of between 8.5% and 10% for the first year, and for the second year it's about 8% across the board. And
in terms of housing allowance?
In terms of the housing allowance, that also has been adjusted upwards, and the unions are happy with that. It's closer to what they were requesting or requiring, which is about 3,000 rand per month. And they have signed a deal, including the housing allowance.
And can you comment on the effect the strike had on the power utility?
Well, the strike did not have any adverse impact on our operations. And we have to also, in a very weird way, I suppose, also thank NUM that their members, even though they were on this illegal strike action, they did not actually pose any threat to any of the people who were going in and outside of our power stations and offices. And therefore, the illegal strike action was handled, I suppose, in a semi-professional way. But the fact of the matter remains that it was illegal, and therefore, when those members, about 1,500 of them, when they do come back to work, they're going to have to explain to their managers as to why they did not report for work. But so far, things are looking good. We are hopeful that by Monday next week, we should be having all staff complement of about 47,000 returning to work within Eskom.
And then lastly, before we let you go, Mr. Phasiwe, let's comment on the inclusion of the CCMA and how this helped the 14-hour negotiation process.
Well, yes, the talks were brokered by the CCMA. All credit to them as well to help us to find this resolution. We should be in a position to make some formal pronouncements from both or from all parties, basically just confirming that all three of them have signed. But as we say, two of them have already signed. And we're just waiting for NUMSA to give us an indication as to whether they accept it. We are hopeful they will do so because they have, in principle, agreed on the offer itself. We're just waiting for them to sign after getting a mandate from their members.
Mr. Phasiwe, thank you so much for your time here on ANN7. That is the Eskom spokesperson talking there. And we also spoke to the spokesperson for NUM.
The National Union of Mine Workers that there is a new offer that was tabled by Eskom at around 3 in the morning. We are taking that offer to our members to get the mandate. Now, we can't say much about the offer that was tabled by Eskom since we are still consulting with our members. We have started consulting with our members after that offer was tabled by Eskom. The CCMA involvement in this negotiation did help a lot because, as you know, that the consultation started at around 9 in the morning until 3 o'clock this morning. It did help a lot.